Welcome to episode 54 of an Earful podcast with me, Matt Lum.
And me, Matty Ashton.
And on this episode, we have the lovely chaps that are Christian and Chino from the band Lovebreakers.
Yeah, so we're talking about all about the new album that's literally just come out called Primary Colours.
Like Friday.
We talk about cool stories like him meeting up with Billie Joe, having a chat with Billie Joe, going to California to record the debut album, which was an experience in itself. And the stories in that, such as bumping into certain members of a very big band at a party as well.
And it's funny.
Yeah, it is a funny story, but yeah, go check that out anyway and enjoy the episode.
Enjoy. All right, then. So we are here with Christian and Chino of Lovebreakers. How are we doing, guys?
Good. My end, mate. Good. Yeah. How are you?
Not bad. Doing pretty swell. So are you guys in Birmingham?
Unfortunately.
Yeah, unfortunately.
It's all right. We're worse off. We're in Wigan.
We're in Wigan.
I don't know if you've heard of Wigan, but
no way, man. Like our one of our best mates, Nathan Sinnott, he's based in Wigan, so we've been quite a few times. We played like a charity gig for one of our friends, Leon, who passed away of a brain tumor.
Was that the Boulevard?
Yeah, the one with like it had like three floors. Really got a balcony. It's got like balconies and stuff. There was two shows. There was one at Boulevard. I've played there before, and then there was what did it used to be called? Nirvana.
Maybe. Oh, Calf. I know what you're on about. Yeah, Calf Nirvana. Yeah.
See, I know my stuff, man. I know Wigan. Wigan's cool, man.
That was the hangout back in the day. Like when we was in like high school, that was the place you went like on a Thursday night till about 10 o'clock, and then your mum and dad pick you up, and all they played is rock tunes all night. Dude, and you didn't care. You was drinking like fucking Coke and like having ice pops.
No wonder
night.
Everyone was like fucking buzzing because everyone had like 4 Red Bulls. Everyone was like, "Let's get going."
There's actually a really old photo of me and Jack there with Nathan. Funnily enough, way before Lovebreakers, before it was even, before we were even in like bands before Lovebreakers, it was back in like 2007. And I remember the one floor was playing like all punk music. It was like Transplants, Rancid, Green Day. We were in our element, but there's an old photo knocking about somewhere, really old, but it's just crazy. I think back to that, like in Wigan, we were actually with our old bands. We were like probably like 18 at the time, 19. And it's just mad, man. I've got a special place in my heart for Wigan. So
you ever try Wigan kebab when you went?
There we go.
I'm not big on kebabs. Did you have one when we played, Chino?
Nah, I'm not about
that. Just to explain what a Wigan kebab is. So it's essentially a steak pie, minced or chunky, whatever your preference, and then it's placed on a bam or a bread roll wherever you are. It might be called something different. So it's essentially that's a Wigan kebab.
Okay, cool, man. No, maybe next time. As long as if I get food poisoning, I'm coming to you, man.
I mean, it's a peak of tourism, but
you know what? A cool story, actually. That moment I was telling you about, that photo. On the way into Wigan, it was my first time to Wigan, and I saw a sign for Wigan Pier, and I was like, I turned around to, I can't remember who I was with at the time, but I was like, no, I text Nathan Sinnott. I text him, go, dude, we've just gone past, because he was like, how far away are you? I was like, we've just gone past Wigan Pier, but I can't see the ocean. And he was like,
see the ocean.
He was like, we're not by the sea. I was like, well, why is there a goddamn pier? Like, why is it called Wigan Pier? And he was like, oh, it's just the name of it. It's nothing to do with like, like a pier that you get in the sea or down at Brighton or whatever. I was really disappointed because I thought I was by the seaside.
I was always confused about that when I was a kid. Like I was like, so why is it called Wigan Pier when there is literally no water nearby or anything? It's just cement. There's nothing else there, but it's a pier.
Just cement. I love it. But yeah, man. So Wigan, what a place.
The Wiggins.
Yeah.
This might have actually. I was going to bring this up later on because, funny enough, obviously, I imagine Green Day was going to come up at some point anyway. But
Oh shit!
There's the story of Wigan playing Calf Nirvana back in like 92.
Wigan playing Calf Nirvana.
Roberto Martinez.
Yeah. Not Wigan. Bloody Green Day. Long day, fellas.
Yeah,
in Wigan, Green Day was playing at Calf Nirvana.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. I've seen the footage. That just like blows my mind. But man, that would have been some show, man. And it goes to show you, like, hard work and determination, like, can sort of take you anywhere, man. But the people who were there are so lucky.
I know. Well, they played twice, and one of them they played on just before Christmas. I think it was like Christmas Eve show that they played. And there's a story about a guy who let them stop over his house, and he told them if they woke the kids up or anyone when they were sleeping downstairs, he'll come down and sort them out. And apparently he came running down with like a fucking machete or something like that. Yeah, well, because they didn't shut up. Obviously, them three downstairs in the living room, you obviously, especially in the early night, it's not going to be keeping quiet, is it?
That is incredible, man. I hope that's true. I know they did. Didn't they do the nativity scene at the Wigan show?
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
Like Trey Cool, like as baby Jesus in that's just incredible. Amazing.
Yeah. I want someday someone to bring it up and ask him, and then it could be like a true or false. Did this happen? And they go, like, fucking yes.
That'd be insane, man. Wow. Hopefully, if we ever get to tour with them, Chino, remember that we need to
ask them about asking me questions.
Questions that need answering.
Yeah.
Be a forum or Reddit somewhere just about.
Yeah.
Anyway, we'll stop talking about Wigan and we'll talk more about Lovebreakers. You guys have got a record out tomorrow. You must be buzzing.
Yep, most definitely. It's been a long time coming.
It's weird, man. Like I was at work earlier and it sort of just hit me. Like obviously it's been building up to this, but like I was just like, whoa, at midnight tonight, like on Spotify, it sort of goes out to the world. And we recorded it back in 2019, in March 2019, and obviously we were in Los Angeles for a month, and then it gets sent off it gets mixed and then gets mastered. So it was all ready, like we had an album ready to go by like the end of summer 2019. And then obviously like you don't sort of just want to fart it out into the world just willy-nilly. You know, these days you sort of have to, plan. And we got offered to tour with Social Distortion in 2020, and it was like, wow, what we'll do is we'll be clever, we'll release the album just at the start of the Social Distortion tour, so we've got something to promote. But then obviously the sky fell, so to speak, so it threw everything, like everything just got turned upside down for everyone, obviously. But yeah, it's kind of a surreal moment knowing that tonight it's coming out, man. I'm really, really excited, really proud. We've been sat on it for a long time, but yeah, I'm stoked, man. It's gonna be.
I feel like we should be celebrating. I feel like we should have got drinks for this as well.
Yeah, raising a toast and all that. That'd be amazing.
Little party poppers.
I've got water. Cheers, boys. Amazing.
So it was intentionally supposed to be released in 2020, then obviously, and then it just got pushed back. So you guys just decided to like sort of drip the album out in bits for these singles throughout that year.
Yeah, man. Yeah, go for it, Jane.
Yeah, well, it's just as you say, we just dripped it out in little bits and pieces here and there, but got up to 4 singles and thought that's enough. Let's get it out now, because it's just going to get to the point where we've just released the whole album as singles, and that kind of defeats the object of doing an album. We like the idea of having one body of work, because loads of labels and stuff are suggesting to us to put it out as like 2 EPs, so there's more content and stuff like that. But it just felt a bit that.
Way like sort of a opinion, like us and love album down, or you put in a vinyl, and it's like a body of work that sort of sits perfectly where each song sits perfectly next to each other. And then like you have an A side and a B side, and you flip your record over. And when we were like, after we got the record done, we were sort of sending it about to labels. We were aiming high, we were aiming low. We were sending it to like big labels, small labels, and a lot of people were coming back to us going, "Yo, this is great. The songs are there, how about like releasing it as like 2 EPs or do like 10 singles? And it's like, I don't know, man, like maybe we're in the wrong, but I just feel like I don't know, you're sort of appeasing like the modern day convenience culture. Like it's great to have an album, and like what's the point of you put 7 singles out and then there's 3 tracks left for people to hear when they get the 10-track album. It's like you've heard everything, there's no excitement. Do you know what I mean? So that was it with us. We were like, well, what we'll do is we'll do like four singles tops, and then because for me, like a lot of my favorite bands' records, the singles aren't always like the best songs. Like you'll put the record on after hearing the singles, but you'll get to like a track and you'll be like, whoa, this is the best track on the record, not necessarily one of the singles that's come out. And that's what makes it exciting. Like you get an album and you hear a song that you've never heard before, and all of a sudden it becomes your favorite song on the record. So I think if you strip that away, you're losing the beauty of sort of, records and music in general, to be honest. So
yeah, for me, like albums are like
there's not
encapsulating that moment of time for that band. So like you could say, oh, that's the primary. If this all does go on forever and ever as we plan, that and people listen to it, they'll pick a song up and go, oh, it's a Primary Colours era, and they'll instantly know what it is. But if it's just a bunch of singles are out there, they've got no identity, they've got no matches. Like I can listen to like Exile on Main Street by the Stones is my favourite album, and I can listen to any song off that, and you can just tell by the way it's recorded, by the style they were writing at the time, the guitars they were using at the time, that song is off Exile on Main Street. That's the kind of thing we're aiming for by doing that.
Curious, whilst we're on about Stones, then why is it about Exile that you like the most?
Oh, it's a great album. It's a double album, which was quite
amazing story behind it. The whole fact of that they couldn't be in England, so they
and they had to go. Oh, I love it. I love that they had to go. I like how Keith Richards rented some massive mansion in the south of France and they just wrote and recorded the whole album there in his basement. It's just incredible. Like there's like really cool artwork in it, incredible songs, but all the songs, out of all of them, there aren't really many kind of hits, as you could say. No, like Satisfaction or like Brown Sugar or stuff like that. Probably the biggest hit's probably Tumbling Dice, but they're all album tracks, and you have to listen to the album as an album to enjoy it. And I never, ever, ever with that album just pick a song off it. I have to just listen to the whole thing and enjoy it as that body of work. Yeah, it's my favourite album. I don't think that's ever going to change. Like Keith Richards and Taylor were absolutely on fire with it. Their guitar.
The Stones, I think they're the key example of like band longevity. Like, I can't think of any other band that's the bands that have gone on a long extent of time. In terms of consistency, I think probably the Stones are like the key example of it, where it's like a brand that you get from it. They've maintained the music side of it as well. Yeah, for sure.
I think
that's absolutely incredible. They're still going, and I think they were doing an album in LA. They finished it, but the same one we were. I found out later on, which was pretty cool.
No way. Sure.
They're still sitting on it as well, which I assume they're waiting to release to do their tour. But I just love how they're still going. Like Charlie Watts is 80 and they're planning the next tour. It's just incredible, and they just don't stop.
Puts so many of us shame, doesn't it? Like the plan minutes to come off and I'm blowing out my arse. I'm like, I'm so tired. Get me a Nando's and get me out of bed.
I remember when me and Mike were like 15, and we used to play pubs with these stupid 3-hour sets.
Amazing.
And we had guitar changes and different tunes and stuff like that. We were obnoxious when you think about it.
Right, fair, man. You got to dream big, ain't you? Don't matter where you're playing. If you play the wagon and horses to 5 people that are eating a Sunday roast and mixing out and doing guitar changes, all the power to you, mate.
Well, that was it. Matt coming out with his SG in drop D with his studded belt on, that when we were 15 in the middle of this pub audience. That's the way you do it.
Fair play, man. Fair play. That's what it's all about, isn't it? Growing up, man. Those experiences. So fair play.
For the acoustic section, and gives a fuck. Talks over it. Actually, like the crowd is like actually like louder. I say crowd louder than the actual guitar.
Yeah.
Wonderwall like cover over and over again.
100%. That's all you got, because obviously we're known for like the verve and like stuff like that. That's all we got shouted at us. Like, we wanted to play like stuff like Green Day or like
Alter Bridge and different things like that.
Guns N' Roses and shit. And then we were just getting like Oasis peppered at us. So
amazing.
Can you play Teenage Kicks? No, I
can't. Brilliant.
So speaking of LA, then, as you brought it up, you guys recording in LA. What the fuck? That's sick.
Yeah, man. It was just like basically like Davey, who produced the record. He's a friend of mine, and he's literally living like the American dream. He had like this moment, this chance to go out to America and work for Hurley, the surf skate brand.
Yeah.
And they really just supported him, and they gave him the opportunity to like open a studio within the complex there. And he was working there for a while, and I was always just watching from England in awe at like how like just this guy from Bromsgrove has like gone from working like a factory job in the suburbs of Birmingham to like working in a recording studio out in Los Angeles, or Orange County, where the sun's always shining, there's palm trees, and like California in itself is like its own sort of subculture. So everyone surfs, everyone skates, everyone's into music, everyone's into the arts. And he obviously knew I was in a band because we're close mates and we were communicating back and forth. And he was back one summer visiting his family, and I said, "Dude, like come to a rehearsal, see what you think." And he come to our lockup at the time, and he said, like, "Guys, just come out to LA, man, do an album with me." Like this was like July time, and then by the next March, we decided, we were like, rather than like doing it, in the suburbs of Birmingham where you're surrounded by like industry and stuff, I think like if what you're surrounded by sort of bleeds through into the music.
Yeah, definitely.
So we went out to LA, and like the weather's good, and like the songs that we had anyway were quite upbeat and positive. And I think when you wake up in the morning, we rented like an Airbnb on the beach. We'd wake up, go and get coffee and breakfast. The sun's shining, you're by the beach, there's palm trees. If you feel good about yourself, you're going to go into the studio and put in a good performance. And I believe that's why the songs turned out the way they did, and the way the record turned out the way it did. Honestly, guys, like genuinely like the best month of my life. Like it was just insane. Like hanging out with your best mates, the weather's good, like you're making an album, like it's something that you sort of dream of when you're growing up. Do you know what I mean? So yeah.
I was going to say, did it live up to expectation of it? Because no, me and Matty personally, we've had the thing of like LA is like where Guns N' Roses was, and it's like the Rainbow Bar and stuff and like that. Yeah. And we're like, holy shit, we need to go. Finally, did it actually live up to the expectation?
For me, yeah, 100%. What about you, Chi?
Parts of it did. I didn't expect it to be as big as it was. It's so vast. Like you can say you'll be in LA, but you are like you could be hours away from another bit of LA. Everything is miles away from each other. But it really gives, like as Christian said, it just gives you that feel. It's like you're just positive. Everyone's nice and everyone's positive, and you get up and you have breakfast in the morning. Everyone's all nice to you, speaks to you nice and everything. Whereas in like if you do that in London, they'll just like throw your breakfast at you, and you go, It's just not a nice experience. But in LA, it's just absolutely lovely, and you go to the studio every morning, just feeling good, just wanting to make some magic. And
yeah, man.
Having the sunshine out always helps, doesn't it? Like it always feels nice having the sunshine out. Everything you do you do it better when the sun shines out. It's beautiful.
Chino as well, mate. These guys just mentioned Guns N' Roses. We haven't actually haven't told this story.
We've got an exclusive.
There we go. We do, to be fair. So we finished the record in Orange County, and we had like a few days of our trip left, and we did like the coastal drive from Orange County up to San Francisco. The Bay Area is like where a lot of our favorite bands are from, like Green Day, Rancid, and all that. And so we went up there, and one of our pals actually works really close with Green Day. He's like it's basically like, I don't know what his job role is. He's like a manager, basically. Anyway, when we got there, he texted us. He was like, "Oh, do you want to come to this party tonight?" And we were like, "Of course, man. Yeah, fucking send us the address." So he sent us the address in Oakland across the bridge. And we got there, and there was like 2 members of Guns N' Roses there. But like, it's none of, none of
it's not Slash.
It wasn't Slash, and it wasn't Duff or Axl, but it was so on drums, Frank Ferrer, like their current drummer.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So, and then like their organ player was there, and she was really cool. But the best part about it was, like, we've got a new drummer now, and our drummer at the time, Marcus, bless him, he's still one of our best pals. Shout out to Marcus. He come out, did his parts, and then he had to get straight back home because he's got like a wife and a kid and like a big job and stuff. And so this Frank Ferrer is a drummer, but I didn't realize he was the drummer in Guns N' Roses. So Chris, our Green Day friend, was like, "Oh, where's your drummer? Like, where's Marcus?" And I was like, "Oh man, like, he's got to go. He's had to go home. He's done his parts. He's adulting, so to speak." I was like, maybe one day we might need a new drummer. To Frank, this is what I said to him, and he was like, "Oh, I'm actually all right for work at the minute, mate." And then Chris was like, "Yeah." Chris was like, "Yeah, this guy's in Guns N' Roses." And me and Chino were like,
shit.
I was like, "Oh my God." And he was like the fucking sweetest dude though. Like we had like put the karaoke on and that, we were singing like Cheap Trick and stuff together, and like it was just really. He actually follows us on Instagram and stuff, man. It's crazy. But yeah, it was just mad, man. So little Guns N' Roses story for you there. Yep. So surreal.
If I bumped into Slash at a party, I think I'd definitely break out the Wayne's World thing of like the "we're not worthy."
Yeah, for sure. So would I, mate. Jesus, that'd be insane, wouldn't it? Like Duff as well. Duff's a really good bass player.
Yeah, Duff.
Apparently, he's like the nicest guy ever.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I bet he is, man. Like he's a proper good bass player. He's not like overly noodly, but he like hits the octaves a lot, and I really like that. I try and do that myself. Like it's not like over the top. It's just like it's sort of subtle and tasteful. So
it's that tone that he's always got though. Like for me, he was a big influence because I'm a bass player myself. Like he's a big influence on like me. And I don't know, like just this tone that he has, you instantly recognise that as Duff McKagan. Like whenever you hear it, you know what I mean, with that bit of chorus on it.
Yeah,
as it starts hitting those notes, you're like, that's fucking Duff straight away.
Yeah, man. It's got like that roundness to it. It's not like a lot of bass. Like I think if it's not recorded properly, it can literally just sound like a wet fart, man. It just sounds like. So it's like when you just DI a bass at a gig, because like when you're younger, you don't have an amp, so you just DI it and it just comes through the piano. It's just like. Puh, puh. But like if you get the tone right, if you get a really good tone, it can be like instantly recognizable, and Duff has that for sure, man. It's really like rounded, and it's got like that chorusy feel to it. It's mad, like it's cool, man. I dig it a lot.
I was going to say Matty's main bass is inspired by one of the old basses that Duff used, the Aerodyne.
Yeah, I saw him use it in Velvet Revolver, and I thought I want that.
Yes.
And eventually, I got around to being able to afford it. So yeah, yeah, man. Duff.
I love Guns N' Roses, man. I mean, I say I love them. Like I just know the hits, but all the hits, I love the hits. I mean, I'm mainly into like punk and like that sort of things, really. But like, I don't know, man. Like Sweet Child of Mine, I know it's so basic, but like in terms of like it's the obvious song, but it's such a good song, man. Like it's so feel good. Like you put it on, the sun's out, you crank that up in your car, man. You just got like a big smile on your face when you're listening to it.
That's the Orange County lifestyle that's got you there, hasn't it?
That's it. This sun is absolutely fucking beaming me. I'm gonna see, like, I usually have to wear like Factor 50 because I've got like fair skin, so I might have to put this blind down a little bit.
That's usually the bait of my life, because when we've been podcasting early in the year, like the sun's coming through and the window's like in front of me. Then I've been like having to do these like chair setups where it's like a tower of chairs just to like cover where the Mac is. So I've got this like ridiculous shadow.
Incredible.
There's always like light here and light there, and it's never in the middle.
So when did you guys start writing for this album then? Like where did it all start?
It was, some of it kind of leaked over from the EP, didn't it? We had like a few kind of like little jams and riffs and stuff that were just kind of sat there, but they weren't finished in time for the first EP we did.
Yeah.
And it just kind of just kind of bled over. But really, like, we really started going full force when Davey said, come out and do an album. And then he gave us a deadline, and then we thought, oh shit, we really better get this done now. So that's when we really went full force. And it kind of, well, when was that? Kind of August time, was it? July?
Yeah, I think I remember really clearly. I was speaking to Jack about this the other day. I remember really clearly, for me, the start of the record, like the writing of it, was when me and you went over to Jack's parents' house at the time when he was still living at home, and we did Eye Roller. Do you remember?
Oh yeah, and I Will Love Life, and
we started Horizons as well.
Horizons as well. Yeah.
But I remember, like, we did Eye Roller there. We basically got the full song. And obviously all we had to do then was show it to Marcus. And then the following weekend, we had band practice. I finished work at 2 on a Saturday, and those guys were already at the lockup. And as I pulled up in my car, they were already jamming Eye Roller in full. So obviously without bass. And it literally floored me, man. I was like, fuck, like, that's the song we made last weekend. I can hear it in full now with the drums. And it was that moment. I walked in sort of halfway through the song, turn my bass on and like come in on like the beat, and I think that was like the start. We were like, whoa, man, like this is like the turning point. This is like our sound now. Like, because when you first start out as a band and you do like your first EP, you're still sort of finding your feet and discovering, you know, what your sound is. But yeah, it was like Eye Roller, the first track on the record. Like, for me, like, yeah, that's when it sort of started, and that was like, yeah, probably like in the summer of 2018, wasn't it?
Yeah, about.
Yeah. So, and then we just then we were like a wrecking ball, like Miley Cyrus would say, and we were just writing and writing and writing, and yeah, taking us all the way through to March, and then we flew out. So,
well, literally, we'd finished Laura the day before we went out, or something silly like that.
Yeah.
Worst Gentleman was finished while we were there. In fact, we didn't even intend to record the song called Worst Gentleman. It was just kind of an intro and a chorus we had for it, and I always personally absolutely loved it, but it never really went anywhere. And then we played it to Dave, and he's like, you need to finish this and do this for this record. Like, oh, okay. So Jack locked himself away in one of the vocal booths while we were doing other stuff, and he'd done the verses and finished off the chorus, and he was like, right, I've got it, let's do it. And just all jumped straight in and did it. That was cool doing that.
Yeah.
Because that song for me has like a real special place now, because it's completely attached to that location. It's not like all the other songs. Like, for me, like, the writing process was like attached to like a sweaty lockup in like the industrial part of Birmingham, and my living room. Whereas this one is sunny California, and it sounds like sunny California as well.
I'm always a firm believer of that. When it comes to recording, you need to completely separate yourself from home. I feel like there needs to be that your mindset changes, because when you're recording at home and shit like that, you're always thinking of different things. So you're never fully like there with the project. You're never like acting as a band as such, because of all these other responsibilities. That's why whenever we've gone recording, I've always been like, right, where's the furthest place we can go?
Yeah, good point. I'd never thought about it like that, really. Like, in America, we had literally nothing else to do other than that. We were in the studio all day, every day. And I think like that was a constant 3 weeks. And I think we had one day off. It was absolutely nonstop, and to think about absolutely nothing else other than that. So we could be really focused on it. Yeah, I've never considered it like that, actually. Good point.
Did you find that your creativity kind of enhanced whilst you was over there? Because you're constantly like focused on one thing. It's like the whole concept of like, if you keep writing and writing and writing, that improves your mentality about it.
Yeah, I mean, the songs are pretty much mostly there, but a lot of them. And because we didn't have that much time, there wasn't that much time to kind of like make major changes as such from when we recorded it at home. But I just felt more comfortable recording. It was just like, if something was going bad and it just wasn't working, just put your guitar down and step outside and beam in sun and go for a stroll, and you just think, and you just reset your mind. You think, get a grip. I'm in California recording an album. Go back and enjoy it. Like, and then it just resets you. Lovely.
Especially your parts as well. Like Chino's guitar parts are really sort of I think they what sort of make our band sort of its own sound. It's like really lead guitar based. So in between Yeah, in between like the vocal melodies, there's some really cool, like noodly, but really tasteful guitar parts. So like I'll be in there, like I'm a root note Reggie, me, like I'm not great on the bass. I'll be getting stressed out, like, man, how am I not hitting this on the beat? It's like one bleeding, one note. And then I think, you know what? And then I sit down and watch Chino and I'm like, I have no excuse to get stressed out over bass parts, man, because this guy is up and down the fretboard, like killing it. Like he has a reason to get stressed out, not me. So, but yeah, man, like it was, it's just so much fun, man. Like it was so good. And I do see it. I get what you're saying. Like when you're at home or you're close to home recording, say you're doing like demos and stuff at home. It's happened here because we always fire demos back and forth, and we'll add our own parts onto GarageBand and fire it back and forth. But I'll be here playing, and then I'll notice something. I'm like, oh, there's a bit of paint coming off the wall there. Oh shit, maybe I need to paint that wall. Oh, hang on, I'm supposed to be recording bass. You know what I mean? So there are distractions for sure, and like I guess we went to the furthest place possible, which
easy, yeah. Definitely. It's like a 10-hour flight.
Yeah, man. It was.
How was it taking over your gear?
Oh yeah.
We just took guitars.
Yeah.
And like the amps that he had.
And packed them as much as you could.
Yeah. Oh, we didn't really need to take, like, because the amps he had were absolutely insane. Like absolutely everything you could have ever imagined you'd want from guitar amps were all there, and loads of pedals and just endless gear. So really, it was just our guitar.
Yeah, it's just the guitars, wasn't it, that we took it? I think the guys were a little bit. If we lost Chino, yeah, you're back. Yeah. I think like I've been before, like abroad with an old band, so I sort of trusted the process of putting my guitar through with the luggage. But these guys were sort of really nervous about it. They were on about like when we got there, they were like, "Can we take our guitars on?" And I knew they were going to say no onto hand luggage. And like they were like, "No, you can't. You've got to put it in the hold or whatever." And these guys are really nervous, but it is what it is, mate. Like everything gets chucked about. If you've packed your guitar up, well enough, then I tell you what though, when you get the other end and you open it up, I remember we collected them off the luggage thing. Do you remember, Chino?
Yeah, this first thing I did, I forgot my suitcase, so I went looking for that. I was checking.
Opening it up, like checking it's all right, man. So
squeaky bum time.
That's it. Yeah, they all got there in one piece, so that's the main thing. So.
Okay, now you'd be gutted, wouldn't you, if you open that up and it was just a massive crack down the neck of it. Shit.
I bought my Les Paul for doing that album as well. I bought it to do this album. I was thinking, and when I let go of it, I told myself, I'm never seeing that again. And then when I did see it again, it was way off my shoulders.
I'm never seeing this again. I love that mentality, man. Fair play. I guess like if you set the bar low, then you can always be like, you get the other end, then it's there. It's like it's a bonus, isn't it?
Oh yeah,
it's a bonus. It's made it.
So what was schedule like though? Sort of like recording. Was it that you did like a straight 8 hours, or was it just like endless time in the studio?
It's whatever felt good. Yeah, it was whatever felt good though, wasn't it? Like, obviously you are on a schedule because you're Brits abroad, ain't you? Like you have like we've got like lives back home and like work and stuff. And obviously we had the studio booked out for like I think it was 22 days, and then we had like an extra 5 days at the end when we went up to San Francisco. So we got the record done in 3 weeks, but we worked late. There wasn't like, Davey wasn't like, right, we're closing the studio at 8 every night and we're starting. I never
did that. Some nights we were there. I don't even know what time we ended up getting back. It was ridiculous. Like we were there sometimes like from like 9 in the morning till 1 in the morning the next day. It was really long. But then some days when we didn't have much to do, it'd just be a bit easier, a bit more relaxed.
Burning the midnight oil, weren't we, man? It was good.
Yeah, definitely.
But like that. But that was fun though, wasn't it? Like being there late, it sort of captures like I feel like that, like the lateness of it as well could capture like a vibe.
Oh yeah, I definitely work better at night than I do in the morning. I'm just absolutely useless in the morning. When it comes to the night, I seem to come alive and wake up and do my thing properly.
When everyone's sleeping, you've got it blasting out your monitors. Like. I know the feeling though. Yeah,
you do tend to get that though, like in terms of, like creatives, they prefer to like just be productive at night. I don't think I know a single person who plays music who's like, I like getting started in the morning.
Yeah, you've hit the nail on the head, to be fair, man. Like mornings suck, man. I hate getting up. Like my snooze.
Unless there's like a litre of coffee.
Yeah, exactly.
Then that's the only way you get anything out of me.
Saying that, while we were there, like I was the earliest riser, to be fair. I did get up, but I've just got like such a love for California. So as soon as I woke up, I was like, whereas at here I hit snooze loads. When I was there, I was waking up, even though I was jet lagged to shit. I'd wake up and I'd just get up, have a shower, and go straight out. Even if I was on my own, I'd just walk along the beach and then go and get a coffee. And like, I wouldn't do that here, but I think because of the environment, like it inspired me and like encouraged me to get up and make the most of it. Because man, like you don't know what can happen in life, do you? It sounds a bit cheesy, but like I might never have ever got to go there ever again. So I tried to just get up early and sort of make the most out of every second, really, while I was there. And so did you, to be fair, didn't you, Dave? Like,
yeah, I did it the other way around though, because you'd get up in the morning and go for a walk, but after I've been to studio, I'll go to the bar across the road, the best bar in the world, literally the best bar on the planet. This place, Class of 47. So I did it the other way around. But yeah, like for me, that was making the most of it, because if you think of like an American dive bar that's got pool table, it's got jukeboxes and stuff, and like a big bar in it, that's the place that's in your head. It's exactly what you think of it. Like you walk in there, there's like God knows how many dollar bills are stapled to the ceiling, but the whole ceiling of this bar was covered in dollars. There must be thousands of dollars in dollar bills on the. I don't know how the place made any money, to be honest, but it's incredible.
Call that earnings on the ceiling.
Yeah, that's where all the tips go. Like,
it was so funny as well, because like we were staying in like a really like. It's like a small community on Newport Beach, like it's called the Balboa Peninsula, and it's got a load of celebrities there, man. Like we were staying in a little beach house, but there's like loads of celebrities that live there. But this dive bar that Chino's talking about was opposite our house, and like when you're there for like 3 weeks, you start to make friends with people who work at the cafe in the morning, and the people who work at the bar on the night. And there's this lady Trish. I don't know how old she is. We could never guess. We asked her, and she would never tell us her age. But we'd go in, and I think you needed like 2.50 cents for like to play pool. So we'd go in and we'd go like what was it, Chino? We'd give her like a $5 bill, and she'd give us like a $20 back. Genuinely. Insane. And she, like we were like, "Are you serious?" And she was like, she's like so California. She's like, "I don't give a fuck, motherfuckers, take it." And we were just like, "Cool, man, sweet." So she just kept giving us like all this money to play pool, and like we'd be like, "Oh, can we have the bill at the end of the night?" And she'd get this bill, and she'd write 0 motherfuckers on it. And we were like, what do you mean? What do you mean? We've got to give you something. She was like, honestly, guys, I don't care. Just fucking, it doesn't matter. And we must have had like, I mean, I don't really drink, but these guys were having like loads of beers and stuff. The bill, if anyone else was working there, would have easily been in the hundreds. And every night she was just like so awesome to us, like just giving us all drinks, like, and just looking after us. And this bar, guys, like maybe one day we can all go together. It was literally the coolest place on the planet, man. Honestly, it was so good.
That's America living up to its expectations there.
Yeah, it was definitely.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, man. Like, I'd be so terrified of it not living up to expectation.
You do. You have like a vision in your head, don't you? Like I always do of like California, and to me, like California does live up to that sort of like that glitzy, but like chilled out and like really arty, and everyone's surfing, everyone's skating. Like there's a load of classic cars bopping about. Like I don't know, it's just different level, man. Like if I could afford to live there, if I could move out there one day, like that'd be the dream. It's just a lot of red tape, and it's like, I think it's like the most expensive place to live in the world at the minute. It's quite scary actually, the cost of living out there, but it's the best place, man. I think what it is, like Birmingham, it's like the polar opposite. Like I'd love to learn to surf and stuff. Like I love that, like being on a beach or skateboarding, surfing. Whereas here you really can't do that at all. Like
Unless you really Cornwall or something like that.
Yeah. So it sort of makes me want it, makes me crave it even more. Do you know what I mean?
So what's the scene like in Birmingham? I know we've talked about LA, but we haven't actually talked about where you guys actually are. So what's it actually like in Birmingham?
Like music scene wise as well.
Yeah, like we've got some, like there's some of our friends' bands. Like there's, to be honest, there's not much of a scene really. I know the pandemic hasn't helped, but like we've got there's a few friends of ours who are in bands in Birmingham. It's all right. It's just, it is what it is. I've said before, like I think the UK in itself is quite snobby with music. I feel like it's really hipstery, and if you almost sort of, especially with the sort of music we're playing, like it's like too punk for the indie kids, but too indie for the punk kids. Like we've had like punk rock promoters tell us we're too rock. I'm like,
what?
Yeah, like, well, what's that mean? We too Nickelback? What do you mean? Like, I don't know what you mean. So I feel like you sort of have to go out to America or to Europe or somewhere else, you know, build yourself a little bit, and then the people here will maybe then, you know, give you a bit more time. Like, but it's quite a sad state of affairs, really.
It's a long way for people to discover music. I think that's always been my gripe with it. Like, in reference to like promoters saying that you two rock. I remember we played a show at Deaf Institute supporting Dream State, and it was we looked at the reviews afterwards, and we always get like a shit review. And it was like, they were like, indie band. I'm like, indie? We're playing drop B.
It's weird, isn't it? Like, I don't know what it is, man, with the UK. Like, I don't know. It's all very like, I think it's hipster. I think it's hipster as fuck.
And it's like when you play a show, you've probably experienced this, where you go and it's loading. Everyone sits in their own little tribes and no one mingles, no one talks. It's such a shit mentality.
I've got a story for you, actually. Like, we've played Leeds quite a few times. We've got friends up there, and they run like a really cool little venue called Boom Leeds. And it was like this DIY show. And we got there. I'm not going to name the band. If they ever listen, they know who they are. But we got there, and Chino was the first one in, and they were sort of setting up their gear. And Chino was like, "Oh, you're right, guys. Like, being nice, like he is, because he's a nice guy. Oh, what's the details? We sound check." And the singer, he thought he was like fucking Tom DeLonge or something. Turned around and was like, "Sound check? There is no sound check. This is a DIY show, man." And like, it's just like, is there any need for the fucking attitude? Like. No. But that's what the punk scene, these people who proclaim to be fucking punk, I like. Do you know what I mean? This is a DIY show, man. I was like, all right, dude. You know, he's only asking a fucking question. So, you know, get off your high horse, man. You might have had a bad day, but don't take it out on my boy. Do you know what I mean? So that's what the sort of thing you sort of experience here in the UK. Whereas I feel like in Europe, like people are just cooler, they're nicer. Like it's more of a thing to just to be nice, and same in America as well. Yeah. Like here, it's very much like, you know, this is my gang, this is my clique. You're not a part of it, so do one. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I don't like that. It should be like camaraderie and like, you know, bringing your pals with you and, you know, making friends. So, do you remember that, Shane? That was hilarious, man.
I do remember it. I just remember us getting up and playing, and we got off and thought, yeah, we did good then. We did really good. And they got on and we were like, okay.
Yeah.
Right,
okay. Blink-182 covers, man. Funny enough.
I never get mentalised of that. There's I know we're going to go and pet on peeves at the end of this episode anyway, but like the two things that piss me off so much when it comes to just like our music scene in general is the little shitty tribes and no one mingles. Everyone's in competition with each other. It makes no fucking sense.
It's not all the time, but the majority, like it does.
Most of the time, you tend to find that the ones where you play with more experienced bands, they're chilled out as fuck. If it's these little shows where you're meant to sell 25 tickets, you earn £1 off each ticket, and then no one sells anything, so you end up just kind of like scarting off afterwards. It's just wrong. Like I feel like us as a system is flawed.
Yeah. 100%, man. Like I agree completely, and you were right. It's never like the sort of bigger, more not even bigger, but like the more experienced bands that are assholes. It's always the ones who are on the same level as us, like we're all trying, we're all in the same boat, you know, we're all playing music because we love it, and if anything comes of it, then it's a bonus, amazing. Like, so why come up with the attitude, like, and like the best part about it was we all stood there and watched this band set, and then we come on and they fucked off, and it's like, you know, like,
where's the support? That's it. Like, you're supposed to be supporting each other, especially within that scene. Like,
100%.
I mean, they stay there,
like,
watch the other bands.
100%. And like, to be fair, like, it's you know, no shit off my shovel. Like, I could not care whether some guys from a wannabe Blink-182 band watch us or not. But like, it's just, if you're gonna proclaim respect, to be fucking, it's respect, innit? Just be nice. Like, fucking, I don't know, man. Is what it is. The UK is just a bit weird in my eyes, but.
Yeah, mate, do you remember you played the show in Liverpool? This is years ago, but we were like the only alternative rock band that was on the lineup. Everything else was kind of like indie. And we came to us playing, everyone cleared the fuck out of that venue. I think there was only like 3 people. One of them was my dad, one was our singer's mum, and one was the person on the bar.
You could tell in the proper indie kids were when they came in. And it's like,
got Parker coats on and everything. Just started out.
You're proper like Liam Gallagher wannabes, like just walking in and out, like
yeah.
Wasn't the right scene for us, was it?
It was like a community sig break. Everyone just kind of just went.
It's all character building, in it, man. That's why I was
yeah.
Adapt to your scenario.
Yeah, man. Adapt. Exactly.
So bringing back the Green Day topic, you guys got put on a playlist.
Yeah.
Which is pretty fucking sick.
Yeah, that's it. It still fucking blows my mind to this day. It's going back to our friend Chris, who works with them. He was over in the UK with Billy, and he was like, "Oh, I've got a day off tomorrow. Like, me and Billy are just like hanging out. Do you want to come and hang out?" Yeah. So I was like, what? Yeah, cool, man. Sweet. So I went down to London with Marcus, our old drummer, and we were just hanging out for like, it's like 7 hours, man. Yeah, we were in like in a little pub in it was Notting Hill. It was. I think that's where the hotel was. So we were just hanging out, and it was really nice, man. Like, considering, like, you know, the guy is like, he could be an asshole because, like, you know, he's, you know, a lot of rock stars,
Billie
you
Joe
know,
Armstrong.
yeah, you know what I mean. So, but we were just talking, and he was to be fair, he was asking us questions. Like, he was really, you know, interested in like me and the drummer's band, this band that we're doing now, and I know he's a big fan of the Who, and Chris was like, yeah, these guys do a great cover of Barbara O'Reilly by the Who, and Billy was like, oh,
take that away, yeah, I listened to that.
Yeah. And he was like, "Oh, cool, man. Let me hear it." So he got it on his phone on Spotify, and he's got it there like that, and he puts it down in the middle of this like this pub table that we're all sat on, and he's like fucking loving it, and he's like, "Man, this is great. Like, everything sounds great. Like, the vocals are great, the guitars, everything sounds great, man. This is." And I was like, "Dude, like, put it on your Oakland Coffee playlist, man." Like, and he was like, "Fuck yeah, I will. I'll do that right now." And I was like, you know what? You don't ask, you don't get. Like,
exactly, yeah.
Like, so I was just like, because I think if it would have been like all, you know, shy and in my shell, like, one, I'd be regretting it now.
Yeah.
Because like I just said, you don't ask, you don't get. And like, he's just a normal guy. Do you know what I mean? At the end of the day, like, just treat him like you'd want him to treat you. So I just asked him, and he was like, "Yeah, man, I'll do that right now." And he did it there, and like, it was just mind blowing, man. Like, it's just crazy. Yeah, like, still blows my mind, mate. And he was just really, really sweet, which is always nice, because you know what they say about meeting, you know, your heroes from when you grow up. So
yeah. So what was like the key album for you guys with Green Day? When how did you discover them?
For me, well, I assume most people say this, but it was Dookie. So before, like, I was really into music at all, I was skateboarding. And my sister just said, "Oh, don't listen to this. You can have this. I think you'll probably like it." And that was Dookie. And like the whole kind of skateboarding thing and that album at the same time, it just seemed to gel and it worked together. And I was listening to it thinking, I want to do this. This is what I want to do. I want to learn how to play guitar and give this a crack. I did. That was it, Dookie. And like starting an album with Burnout's unbelievable. Like that's just that's a way to grab your attention, isn't it?
Dude, like it's so weird. Like that story's pretty much the exact same as me. Like, I used to skateboard. It was around 2000. It was the year 2000, so I would have been 10 and a half, 11. And I used to skate with like these older kids. And I remember they were going on about this album Warning that was coming out, the new Green Day album. And they were always talking about it. And one day I was on my drive just skateboarding. I'd built like a little ramp. And Chris, this guy who I used to skate with, he was about 4 years older than me. And he was on his way into town. And he was like, you know, I've been telling you about this band Green Day. He was like, listen to this CD. And he gave me Dookie. And I was like, okay, cool. Anyway, he went off. A few hours later, I went into my bedroom. I've got like a CD player. I would have been, I'm born in January, so I would have been 10 and a half, man. Like this is a young age to hear Dookie. And I put it on, opened the lyric booklet, and the first song is obviously Burnout. And like the lyrics, the first lyrics are like, I declare I don't care no more. And all of a sudden, like my whole world went like, I don't know what it, honestly, like, I'm not even exaggerating. I remember just thinking, oh my God, like this is, how have I never, because before that music, like, my dad was into like the Who, like my mum and my dad are really into like the Who, the Jam, and like that sort of era of bands, and like the Clash and like the Ramones as well. But when you're that age, because of the quality of the recordings, you're always sort of like, no, the songs are all right, but it's quite hard to listen to. But when I heard this, I was like, the recording's amazing, but the songs like speak to me. And it made me straight away, that album finished. And I remember thinking, man, I want to learn guitar. I want to learn guitar, and I want to be in a band. And that was it from there. Like, it's quite, the negative side of it is like, I just stopped caring at school. And my mom remembers that really clear. She's like, as soon as you started listening to like that, you just like,
the angsty teenager vibes came out from it.
Just me, like, it was like everything
we all went through it.
Yeah, everything turned to guitar. Guitar was all I was ever going to do. At that time in my head, it was like, you are not going to do anything else. You're not going to do anything in science, English, all that boring stuff.
Yeah.
You are going to play guitar and you're going to follow your dreams. And Dookie, man, like that band, it just
fair play to you guys though. There you went, mate. You've been to California. You've got an album coming out tomorrow, so
man. It's crazy. It's mad, isn't it? Like, yeah. And people measure success in different ways. To me, like, as long as I'm having fun, and like, I'm sure it's the same for Chino, and even for you guys as well. Like, if you're having fun, I'll be doing it until I'm like 60. I'll probably be in a Tom Petty covers band with Chino when I'm 60 years old.
All about that.
So I think if you're having fun and like, you know, you're not harming anyone and you're just doing your own thing, like, I'll keep going, man. And I thank Green Day for that 100%. That record, like, it is the reason why I'm on this podcast with you guys right now. So
cheers, Billy.
Yeah, man.
So in relation to like when you said like obviously you grew up listening to like the Who and that, it started like the similar like situation with me where like my dad was into like Clapton, Rolling Stones, Fleetwood Mac, and Tom Petty. But I think it's the thing of that you in your head it doesn't speak to you because it's not something you've discovered. It's just something that you've kind of just listened to.
100%.
So I think it's only like later in life you then like go, oh, those songs were sick.
100%.
Like, you begin to appreciate it more as you get older. Like I appreciate Tom Petty more now than I did when I was 15.
100%, dude. Nail on the head. It's like, you're exactly right, because when you discover things yourself, it's yours, isn't it? It's like, oh, I found this. This is my thing. And then as you get older, like I was guilty of it. Like when I first heard Green Day up until about 20, all I cared about was punk music. It was just Green Day. And then the bands that Green Day thanked in their records, like the Bouncing Souls, Rancid, Operation Ivy, those were the bands I loved. And I was like, that is all I'm ever going to listen to. But then as you get older, your taste changes. And like, then I started, actually, like Billie Joe or Green Day or other bands have started mentioning the Who as influences or the Replacements, and then I'll dive into that, and then you're like, oh my God, this stuff is incredible. And like now I'm like, you know, like Tom Petty is one of my all-time favorites, like the Replacements, the Who, all of that. I love it all. It's just, and it all has a key quality for me. It's all timeless. It's not like flash in the pan like fad music. Like there's like a time in like the late 2000s where there was a load of pop punk bands doing like this thing where they'd have like beat downs in the songs, and they'd you know, like, and it was just like, no, it was a fashion fad that lasted all of like 2 years, and now no one cares about it. And so those bands always just did their own thing, and it's so timeless, and that's why they've sort of lasted, and the songs have stood the test of time, because they never like followed a trend or anything. They just did something that was authentic, and that really comes through in music. I believe that if you're doing something that's truly like your own, you're always going to be original, because no one else can match you. Do you know what I mean?
I think that's the thing with where you can say like every like musician's like somewhat unique. There's always like some sort of like combo. Like I think of it as like there's 3 main bands that I remember discovering. So like Guns N' Roses was like the one that made me want to play guitar. There's Green Day. There's Green Day. I did it really backwards because I got shown the International Super Hits album. And I was like, oh, this is just their album. Imagine having such a good fucking album.
Incredible.
And then like last one being like Paramore, when they released the Riot album. That was kind of like when I was like at peak discovering bands phase, and I was like, I want to be in a band. I want to do this completely.
Mate. That's that. Everyone has like their own paths, don't they? And like those records will, you'll get to however long you're going to live, and those records are still going to mean everything to you, which is cool, man. And it's a sign of a great record, and all those records are great, mate. So yeah, man.
I think every person that switches off after a certain bit, because you're always going to get the joke of that. You'll hear all this new music, you're like, I don't give a fuck, I'll listen to the same albums from like the same like 10-year period, and that's it.
Guilty.
Yeah, same. And as much as you try to like discover new music and be like, I'm going to captivate this new scene, you just go back to the shit that you relate to.
100%. I'm so guilty of that. Like I genuinely try really hard to find new music as well. Like the stuff on Spotify comes apart. You may like this because you listen to this, and half of it I'm like, nah, I don't like it all, man. No, you've got me all wrong here. I'm still
you don't understand me, Spotify.
I'm still going into like I've started listening to this playlist on Spotify called Alt Country Classics, and it's like it's like sort of like Tom Petty-esque country, and I'm actually really digging it. It's like country, but with like a bit more upbeat, not like country like Johnny Cash, which I like, but like it's more like alt country is like country with drum. Like I don't know if you would have you heard of like Lucero?
No.
It's basically like country but with drums, a bit more distorted guitar and that sort of vibe.
You could probably call it Americana, wouldn't you?
Americana,
right.
Yeah. I get basically like the Tom Petty stuff, like Running Down a Dream and stuff like that. What a jam!
What a jam!
Yeah, man.
Wide open.
Oh, mate, don't even, mate. Goosebumps just talking about it.
I think that's we were saying last time on the podcast. Like Spotify does have its good sides to it, like introducing you to new bands like that. On, like you say on your daily mixes, and then like you just put it on shuffle, and then you hear something that you've never heard before. Like could even be like new music, and then that like introduce you to like a whole fucking new world of stuff. Apart from me, I get stuff like it's Murder on the Dance Floor, Sophie Ellis Bextor coming on. I don't know where the fuck that came from. It was like a rap verse, but even taking like a deep dive, like I've just got into Elvis a lot. I've been listening to him for quite a while, but I've been just deep diving into all of his music, and I've only just realised he's got like 600 songs that he recorded. So at the moment, he's just like fucking like all that rock and roll sort of stuff on there, which is cool. But that's introduced me to whole other different rock and roll artists from like the 50s era that I've never even bothered listening to before. So yeah, it's cool.
It definitely has like its plus sides and its negatives. Like I like to think probably more its plus sides. Like you are right. Like it does take you into you are able to find bands really quickly and like discover new music. It's just at the moment like there's nothing recently that new so to speak that's like I'm sure there is. I'm sure there's a bazillion great bands and songs out there. It's just the music industry is so saturated, isn't it? Like, because everyone, you don't need to have a record label, so to speak, anymore. You can make something on GarageBand and you could have it released on Spotify a few days later. So it's like, so it's a good thing and a bad thing for me. It's like, it's good because it's all there, but you have to know what you're looking for almost.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You have to know where to go to find it. So I don't know. It's a weird one.
Do you think that it has, like, I'm always wondering this, but do you think like Spotify playlisting has too much power over what's dictated as something someone should listen to?
100. I think so, and I can tell you why. Just as an example. So at the time when Christian and Marcus went and met Billie Joe and they got on that playlist, I think our EP had been out a while and our monthly listeners kind of trailed down a little bit.
Yeah.
Put on that playlist, and I think within a week we're at like 6,000 monthly listeners, and that automatically just changes everything then. And like that just, it gives you, okay, I'm going to inverted commas, measure of success, because you've got more monthly listeners, but really we're the same band as what we were yesterday, but it's just the fact we're put onto a playlist that changed it.
Yeah.
So like that spectrum is just like exploded in comparison to what it was. That is insane. It's like, in some senses, not to downplay radio, because it is still a big thing, as you guys probably understand, but play listeners kind of shot up in that everyone's like, oh, you have to get playlisted, you have to be featured on these things, and then you're considered successful. I imagine it's quite a poisonous like mindset to have as a musician, because you then focus on, oh, I need to be liked to be on playlisting, rather than just focusing on like the music shit.
Yeah, it's quite sad, really, isn't it? Like, it's I don't know, like when you put it like that, it's kind of scary, because like depends what sort of person you are. Some people can take that sort of thing quite badly, and it can affect their confidence, and it could make them, you know, have self-doubt, like, but they could have like the best song ever, just no one's heard it. Do you know what I mean? Like, someone could write an amazing, beautiful song, like the most perfect song, and they're pitching it to Spotify playlists, or even dropping like people DMs on Instagram going, I know you're on this playlist, please put me on there. And then they get no response, or a response saying no. And depending on the sort of person you are, every human's built differently, but like some people could take that really bad, and then that could be it. Then that could be that could be them done. And I think it's quite toxic, to be honest. It's quite sad. You sort of have to sort of take it on the chin, like I said earlier. Like, as long as you're having fun, like,
well, exactly.
The Spotify playlist will come, won't they?
It's the same concept as if like you write a book, and then 100 people read that book, 20 don't like it. At the end of the day, it's their opinion. Why does it matter? In a day, you've released a fucking book.
Exactly, mate. Spot on, dude. It's like you can have like social media. It's a weird one. Like, it's sort of a poisonous chalice. You sort of have to do it these days, because like we had labels going like, and like we had like booking agents and stuff going like, you've got like barely any followers, like your social media numbers are crap. And it's like, well, it's like, who cares? Like, it does not matter. But and the thing is with that as well, like you could have like, you know, 10 comments, and like 8 of them are cool positive comments, and you get 2 that are like, you know, not very nice. But you're always going to remember the 2 that are not very nice, aren't you?
Yeah.
And it's a bit shit, isn't it, really?
Why are they there in the first place?
Yeah.
We've always said it is that if we didn't have a band or a podcast as well, that we wouldn't do social media, or I wouldn't like, I'd easily get rid of Facebook.
I think 100%.
Shit.
I agree, mate. You know what? I've deactivated Facebook. Like, I have to have an account to be able to run the band one. I've deactivated it, so like I can't see like news feeds and stuff, simply because I've got like a dog, and I'd be on there every day, and there'd be like dog napping in Birmingham, dog napping around the corner from where I live, and I was just getting depressed. I was like, fuck, like this, I don't like it. Sometimes you're better to be ignorant and naive to what's going on in the world. Do you know what I mean?
I saw a quote, it's funny you should mention that, where I think it was like Denzel Washington said it, where he said, if you don't watch the news, you're uninformed. If you watch the news, you're misinformed.
Chino's your man for this. You posted that the other day, didn't you?
I saw that exact thing.
So fucking true.
So right. Oh my God.
So true, man. And like, yeah, you're 100% right. If I didn't have the band, I have no reason to be on it at all. Like no reason whatsoever, because if I want to get in touch with my friends, I've got the phone numbers. I'll call them.
You got this.
Exactly. And it's like, I don't know, man. I just think it's like, I'm 32 now, and like, it gets to a point as well where you've got like people who are your age, say that you haven't seen for a while, and then say they unfollow you or something, and then you're like, okay, like, does that mean that we're no longer cool? Is that how we're telling each other you no longer, we're no longer cool? You're unfollowing me, like, fair enough. Like, and I think that's really toxic, because it can, depending on what sort of person you are, it can like depress you. It can make you think like, oh, what have I done wrong? And then you get into your own head, and then you're thinking, whoa, what have I done here? Like, what's gone on? Whereas 10 years ago, if Chino's done something to piss me off, I'd ring him and go, Chino, you piss me off, man. And you'd settle it like that. Do you know what I mean? You'd talk about it.
Yeah.
Whereas now it's like, unfriend, meh. And then you don't know what to do. You're like, okay, and that's the way the world's gone. It's like,
it's mental. It's people are measuring that, like you said, the success by the social status, like, and it's fucking, it's mental, man. Like, I would have loved to have been in the time where you could live in, like, say, like, be born in like the 60s, live through all that great music era, and like get excited with your mates and go like, shit, shall we go down like the local record shop, pick up the new like whatever record that's just come out, go listening to it. You know what I mean? I'm fucking cool with that a bit, but
dude, mate. You speaking my language, man. Like, honestly, like, I think I was born in the wrong era. Like, that would have been the dream time. It genuinely would have. Or like, if you're talking about like being in a successful band, like, say like that, the 80s or the early 90s, like, as well. Like, every band was getting signed as well, and like,
that was putting the work in. Like you, if you put in the work in and you've got that, you know what I mean, that like energy put into it, compared to, like you said, if you put something online now, like, you could just get famous from it. And it's fucking, it's like Post Malone, like he is fucking good, like, I'll give him that. But the like, he got famous just from putting like something on SoundCloud, someone sharing it, and then he's massive. You know what I mean? You get bands who are working for like years upon years upon years, and you know what I mean, and they're getting like nowhere with it, and it's fucking mental. But like you said, back then, like, bands like that who were grafted would have probably got through.
100%, man. And like, labels then as well, because there was such a good markup on the sale of CDs. Like, they were chucking money at bands, and bands could make a living doing what they love. And there were so many like average bands that got signed and made a lot of money and signed big record deals, and they've still probably got the feet up right now, because they signed a good record deal, and all the power to them, fair play to them. But it's not like that anymore. But dude, like, to be around without social media would have been amazing. Like, people used to go and like print flyers and put them on lampposts. How cool is that?
Do you remember the days of where you'd leave a gig and they did the band outside with flyers and CDs to promote the band? Like, even then, like 2000 and whatever it was, like, even that was a better time than what it is now. It's quite medieval in it, really, where it's like a social state. It's like, oh, I have 1,000 followers, you peasant.
And it's mad. It's weird, because that actually wasn't that long ago, was it? Like you said, like the 2000s. Like, I remember when like Facebook first come about, and like, I was on MySpace at the time. I was like, I'm never going. I was like, I'm never going onto Facebook. Fuck that. And then everyone did, so I did, and it's like, but imagine like, when you never had to worry about any of that. It was just like, if you wanted to get in touch with your friends, you could call them, or even like before that, you write to them. Like, I sound old fashioned and boring, but I just think, I don't know, man. Like, it's just, there was so much less toxicity then, I'd imagine.
It's definitely romanticized now, isn't it? That era, because it was just less complicated. And I think people's mindsets were a lot healthier. Like, the way it is now, not to rant too much about it, I also want to underline that Netflix documentary, but it's definitely not going in the right approach, where people are like obsessed with people,
like Instagram influencers and shit like that. It's just,
Jesus Christ, the amount of people I see where it's like coffee shops that have been DM'd of about, oh, can I get a free coffee and I'll promote you? It's like, fuck off, just buy fucking coffee.
Yeah, it's broken society, mate, and like I don't know.
Hey, you're in social status.
Yeah, it's just mate, it's just weird, and it like I don't know. I just maybe I'm a bit old fashioned, but I just think that would have been such a nice time to be alive. Like, and no wonder there's like a mental health crisis sort of happening, like because everyone, you know, bases their life on like social media and like you know, and that's really sad. It's like it's really scary. You have to be like really like resilient to be able to sort of cut through all the bullshit and not let it bother you. And to be honest, not many people are these days. Like I'm not. Like stuff hurts me. Like I'll openly admit I'm a sensitive guy. But there's people a lot more sensitive than me who would take it even worse. So like, I don't know, man. It goes back to the, you know, just try and be nice to people, and I don't know, without sounding too boring, just, you know, treat people how you want to be treated, innit? So
100%.
Well, you've always had that aspect, like going back to the whole gigging thing, like you speak to people how you want to be treated. Like I've mentioned this probably about 20 billion times now, but we played a show with the main. And it was kind of like they came to us to introduce themselves and then was like, if you need anything, let us know. If you get bored in your dressing room, come to us and we'll speak to you.
That's amazing.
Like, just etiquette. Just speak to each other.
Awesome,
it's not
100%. It's I was actually like, Matt actually told me that part of the section, like you mentioned at the start, there's a pet peeve section. So I'm quite looking forward to that because I know what my pet peeve is.
We're getting to it
then. Yeah. Do you want to go for it? Yeah.
Yeah, man. Let's go for it. So, what is your pet peeve?
So for me, like it's like manners. I'm really big on just basic manners. Like genuinely, like little things. Like if someone texts you, I get everyone's got their own schedule. They've got their own life. Everyone has different things going on. If your mates text you and you look at it and you go, "Fuck it, I'm not going to reply." Like I think that is bad fucking etiquette. Like I think everyone has their own lives. Everyone has different situations, and there'll be times when you just completely forget. I've done it when my friends have texted me and I've just completely forgot. But there's never been a time when I've gone, fuck it, I'm not going to text them back. So for me, it's like my pet peeves is like being like bad communication and politeness. Like just be fucking just say please and thank you, man. Like, and if you stood in the, if you know you're stood in the way of someone in the shop and they need to get past you or in any environment, just move 1 yard to your left or right. Do you know what I mean? It's not harming you, is it? Because you know, some people will stand there to make a point, like shoulders out, like I ain't fucking moving. Like, dude,
what do you gain from it?
exactly. So yeah, that's my pet peeve. Just like bad manners, just politeness, and just basic communication. Like is for me. So, about you, Gene?
Well, all that kind of stuff, of course, pisses me off. But the thing that pisses me off the most are things that I do. And so something that I've taught myself is so my pet peeve is missed opportunities. And like, I could quite easily have missed the opportunity to be in this band, quite easily. So like Christian's mum and my mum know each other really well, and we always used to look after his dog. And he just like every time he just dropped his dog around, he just like we had to have like a little chat or whatever. I knew he'd been in bands because my mum had said. And out of the blue, he just messaged me saying, bear in mind, having never heard me play guitar, do you want to be in my band? And I could have just thought, what? I don't know. But I just thought to myself, actually, yeah, fuck it, I'm going to do it. Let's just do it. I'm going to do it. And if I hadn't have just thought, oh, yeah, I'm going to do it, I wouldn't be sat here now. I wouldn't have gone to record the album. Wouldn't be going on tour with Social Distortion, all that kind of stuff. And I just realised how close it was to missing an opportunity and I've missed so many opportunities in my life just because I've kind of backed off a bit and thought, I don't know if I can do that. I don't know if I'm good enough or whatever.
Yeah.
And this band has just really taught me just to jump into everything with both feet and just see what happens. So it's missed opportunities for me.
That's really good, man. Fair play.
Yeah, I agree with that.
That was class.
I've got an additional question that I was going to ask before, but I completely forgot about it up until you just mentioned it then. So looking over the period of starting recording in 2019, knowing that you're going on tour on these dates that have been rescheduled, an album, a full fucking album coming out tomorrow. When you look in retrospect at this time period that it's been from 2019 up to now, what's your overall feeling towards it?
For me, like it's the record. So if you think when it was recorded in March 2019, when we got back, we all worked jobs or whatever. So and we were all broke. So from yeah. So in that time of getting back, none of us got to go on like holiday or whatever. And then obviously Christmas happened and then the pandemic happened. So for me, the moment we were recording that record, I said earlier, it was like the best month of my life, but that was like the last really good, enjoyable moment like of my life. That whole process of being out in California for a month. So for me, that this whole period of time sort of just makes me appreciate how good that was. And it makes it almost seem like, well, it was like the best month of my life. So it just sort of makes me think like, don't take anything sort of for granted and try and like Chino said, jump into things with both feet and enjoy yourself as much as you can. So it's strange, isn't it? Because that was literally the last time we were all together properly, fully as a band, doing something really cool and enjoyable, because we haven't done any shows over the pandemic. So yeah, it's sort of the record will always be like that moment in time of like, whoa, it was that time just before the pandemic happened. We were like, we were having such a good time in California, and then the sky sort of fell. So
where did the title for the record come from, by the way?
Like Jack, our singer, always says like, if you have any cool song titles, ideas, text them me, and they might inspire me to be out. Like I might be able to write a hook from it, which then might in turn end up being a song. And I was firing him like, we were all sending him like some really cool song titles, and then this one day I was just like, Primary Colours. So I sent him it, and he loved it. He was like, fuck, like this is badass. And he wrote a song around it really quick, and that's where it come from, man. I think Jack said that it's like the song, like all I need are primary colours, the blues and greens on top of each other. It's basically like metaphorically like longing and striving to be at a better place, whether that be somewhere where the sky is blue and the grass is green and the weather's always good. That's one way to interpret it, and that's how we sort of how we put it across on the record. So that's where it come from, man. Just a song title out of just an idea that popped into my head, and Jack managed to turn it into something really cool. And yeah, it's probably my favorite song, to be honest.
I was going to ask you both that. So that's your favorite track on the record, then? Yeah,
I think so, mate. Yeah. It's just got like that, and like everyone thinks exactly. Everyone talks up their own band. 100%. I get it, because everyone believes in their own art, and I'm going to be no different. I love the song. I think it's a really good song. I think like I could see it like being played like without sounding too ridiculous, but like the bit where it drops down in the middle, it's just Jack and his guitar before the guitar solo. I could imagine that at fucking like a big venue,
the festival atmosphere.
Him standing on his monitor, the lights go down, it's on Jack, and then it all kicks in, the lights go up, and there's fucking pyro and shit. I love that. So
it's a good song idea when you can literally envision how it will be.
Exactly, mate.
Cool.
Exactly.
What about yours, Chino? What's your favorite on the record?
For me, it's Worst Gentleman, just because of how it just makes me think of everything that was perfect about America, and when we went there, it just encapsulates that whole moment for me. And I just think of all the good things. So there were stressful times there, but I only think of everything good when I'm listening to that song. I just think it's great. Like I loved it from its very first tiny little jam we had. As I say, it was just an intro and a chorus, and I've always loved it. So I was so happy that it actually came to fruition and got finished and got recorded and is now a thing. And tomorrow the world will be able to hear it.
Yeah, man.
It's crazy, isn't it? Once the clock strikes midnight tonight, that's it.
It's fucking.
It is. It's mad. It's I agree with Chino as well. Like if it's not Primary Colours, it's Worst Gentleman for me.
Yeah.
Like the song before Primary Colours. Like, I just think they're both sort of like Worst Gentleman's quite Americana-y, and it does, like, because it was made while we were there, it does sort of take me back and Chino back to that moment when we were in the studio and the sun was out beaming and we sort of got this song together, and it wasn't even going to be on the record. It was only because Davey was like, because we went out there with quite a few, more than 10 songs, and Davey was just like, well, let me hear a few more, like just to be sure. And Jack played the chorus, and he was just like, dude, this is going on the record. You're not leaving until you get this song done. So it's mad how things happen, man. It's like a sliding doors moment almost. Like I love, and like Chino said, I love that song. It's nothing but good vibes. So
like it. Well, we'll get on to our next. Well, Matt.
I'll let you say that in just a minute.
Yeah,
you're just purely promoting the concept of selling the idea of going to
going there. Yeah.
So
I know, and it's like, move to America now.
I want sunshine and coffee and
beach. You know what? Who doesn't? Do you know what I mean? Like it's it's a special place, man. And like obviously everywhere has its flaws. Like there's a massive like homelessness problem in California. I think one of the Uber drivers was saying to us that California, because it's such like a liberal state, it gives out like the most in like benefits to like homeless people, and it's got like the most food banks and stuff. That's what they said, whether that's true or not. So like a lot of people who are homeless in other parts of America do what they can to head west, because if you're homeless in New York in the middle of winter, you're going to die, aren't you? Whereas as like that's the brutal reality of it. So yeah, obviously everywhere has its flaws, but for me, just I love it out there, and couldn't think of a better place to have recorded the record, man. So
as I say, I went to Memphis back in 2019, and like just to experience the whole blues scene and everything behind that, man, it was fucking awesome. But we went down
Beale Street.
We went down Beale Street, and we did get told, and was in a taxi, like just make sure that that you're not on your own when you're walking around and stuff. You know what I mean? Make sure you're in like sort of populated areas as such, because it can obviously get dangerous. And me and Mrs. was walking down Beale Street, and this fucking guy approached us in like an orange jumpsuit. I was like, what the fuck? Dude, yeah, he was after like money.
Straight from Guantanamo.
Yeah, I was like, he literally approaches in an orange jumpsuit. I was like, have you just escaped out of jail or some shit? Like, what the fuck is going on here? So we just jumped into the closest car. But yeah, like wherever you go, like there is like obviously dangerous spots like that, but you still just got to enjoy it. And yeah,
I was gonna say that sounds like Wigan.
Yeah.
Look
at him. I see you dressed subtle.
Just kidding. I love that place, man. I love that place. Did you do like Graceland and that? What you?
Mate, yeah. Like I said, I'm a big Elvis fan, so we went to Graceland, did the whole tour around there. We was like the last ones in the queue though, so we was practically in the fucking house by ourselves, and we got the meditation garden to ourselves where he's buried in that. And yeah, you have like a little tablet that when you walk around the house, and it's telling you about the different rooms when you're looking at them. You got your headphones on, there's music playing sometimes, and I think they played, it was like If I Can Dream, or it might have been American Trilogy, but one of them two they played while you're in the meditation garden looking at his gravestone. It's like overwhelming as fuck.
Jesus, man, that's like lump in the throat moment.
Yeah,
100%. Jesus.
Yeah, and then across the road they've got a museum just full of his cars, all of his outfits. And even people who were inspired by Elvis, they've got like an inspired by Elvis like section where they've got like Kiss's gear, like stage 1 gear by Kiss, Bruce Springsteen's gear, Johnny Cash, all this sort of stuff. Oh wait, I froze on here. I don't know if I froze on your end.
No, you're good.
You're here, mate. You're here.
Oh, there we go.
You're here.
So is his Cadillac there? That?
Yeah,
it's got like a big.
Yeah, his Cadillacs there. All of his cars, mate. Like, yeah, he had like some of the like limo style ones as well. But yeah, his Cadillacs there, like the 50s Cadillac.
Man. Dude, what the cars back then?
Yeah,
old American cars, man. God damn it, they're so good. They're like
Travis Barker's keeping the dream alive with them. Like some of his cars are fucking insane.
Yeah, the only
froze again.
He's made.
Have you not seen from Knott's car collection?
Nah.
He's building rebuilding a runner.
Nice.
Like it's fucking
nice, man. They built them so back then. It was like they were big, and they were sort of. I was reading that they're based on like sort of the space race. So like like the fins and the lights that sort of shaped like rockets.
Yeah.
It was like because at the time, like America and Russia were sort of racing to get to space first, weren't they? They were sort of, and like so they built the cars with like this cosmic look, and that cosmic look is just amazing. Like it's just so like every car these days looks so sort of samey, doesn't it? But like the cars back then, like they really took like care with the details and like the shapes, like insane, like beautiful, man.
That's the dream. Going down Route 66 in a Cadillac.
Oh man,
yeah,
man, god damn it.
That's your next trip.
That's the next trip, man. That's the next trip.
You missed out like one of the key things you visited when you was in America. Jeff Buckley's last spot.
Oh yeah, so I'm a big Jeff Buckley fan. So he did pass away whilst he was going to be recording there. So I went down to like the Wolf River where round about where he passed away, and that was fucking it was weird. It's like weirdly peaceful. It's at the bottom of like Beale Street, but that was a strange moment.
It's sad like that when like the older you get, your heroes sort of seem to like. What about the news about Mark Hoppus, man? I'm not even
shit, man.
I'm not even. I think it's like I'm not a massive Blink fan, but like that just broke me. I was like, yo, what the fuck? Because growing up, like they were always there, like they were everywhere, weren't they? It's horrible, man. It just makes you feel like it makes you realise that everyone's human, nobody's invincible, no matter how much of a pedestal you put them on, or you think they're on. Like they're still so vulnerable. It's just weird.
It's crazy because of how much like a looming presence, like you said, Blink's always had like a looming presence. Like even no matter what band you're into, Blink was there. Like
100%.
Were always there.
Yeah, it's just crazy, man. So
fingers crossed, it makes like a full recovery.
Yeah, man. Come on, Mark.
Again, so everything's fine.
Yeah, man. Come on, Mark. You got this, man. You got this.
Yeah, right. We'll jump on to the next section anyway. So, what is your favourite scary movie? And if you don't like scary movies, like I said, we could talk about why. Maybe the film might put you off horror films.
Go on then, Shane.
Well, I don't like horror films at all. I'm just going to drop that bomb.
It's all right.
I just don't like. For me, the reason why I don't like them is that a lot of the time it can't be true, and I don't like that. I like films that can potentially be, or even better, based on true stories.
Yeah.
And it's not an enjoyable experience for me. Like, I want to feel better after I've watched the film, not worse. And for me, I feel worse after it. But having said that, I have been thinking of a film which could possibly fall into that category. And most people wouldn't call it that, but if you kind of look into it a bit more, you can see it that way. So my favourite films are Goodfellas and The Godfather. And them people in that film are absolutely horrendous. Like, you would not want to come across them people. And obviously, The Goodfellas is based on a true story, and The Godfather is based on a crime family in New York. And all these people, these are absolutely horrendous people, and it's really quite scary when you think about kind of like their life they lived and how they treat people.
Yeah.
So
it's like a real life horror story in a way, innit? I know what you mean. Like, they sort of lived that like high life, but then on the other end, it was like, I'll probably get shot tomorrow. Like,
no, it's absolutely brutal. Yeah.
Like, did you see the documentary on Netflix? It was about like the mob gangs.
Yeah. Is that the one where they were like, they got all the recordings of them when they were?
Yeah, and the TV, like they got the guy on the TV and that.
Yeah, incredible.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, Joe Pesci's character in Goodfellas is intimidating as fuck. Is it Joe Pesci's character?
Yeah,
Joe Pesci's, yeah.
I mean, a lot of them aren't very nice, but Joe Pesci is just an absolute animal. Like, and like the guy that he's based on, in true life, I think Tommy D. Simone, I think his name is. Yeah. Absolutely horrendous person by the sounds of things. And dead by the time he was our age. Crazy.
Yeah,
so there you go.
No, it's a fair one, to be fair.
No, I see the point. It's a fair argument because it is like a literal like real life horror.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Go on then.
Christian.
What are we doing?
So I'm sorry, boys, but I'm not a horror person at all. Like, just like Chino, like I can't take. It's not even like the real thing either. It's not like, what worries me is that it could be real, maybe. So like, you know, like I remember when I was younger, like I was a bit more fearless, and I would watch horror movies. I remember seeing Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and again that messed me up because I was only young. There was a bit where like someone was like hanging on pegs in a basement. I don't know which one that was. That made me feel sick. And then I saw one of the Saw movies, and like the way the bones crunch and stuff, and that was it for me. I was like, you know what, I don't enjoy this. But tell you what, you might class this as a horror. I class it more as sci-fi. But my all-time favorite movies ever, Alien and Aliens.
Yeah, literally, it's like sci-fi horror, isn't it?
Yeah. Then timely. I watched them a couple of times, at least once a year, like the coolest movies ever. And what's great about the films is when the aliens, people in suits still looks real as anything.
Yeah.
Whereas like some films, they CGI for monsters, and it looks so obvious it's not real. And if you watch Alien or Aliens, it's like legit and like scary. It's more like a thrill, like you're on your seat.
Yeah.
And there's a and I really enjoy that. I still big up Alien, and the second one, Aliens. I think they're literally the greatest movies ever. They're so fun and so good. But would they be classed as horror?
It's like sci-fi horror, yeah. And going back to the Aliens, like you said, like considering that came out in like the 70s, like, and the fact that if you saw that alien, like it still holds up to now, like even when they released like the more like later alien films, you know what I mean? There's nothing really much change with 100%. The alien itself on there, and it's still just as freaky. But like you said, it's crazy how they managed to pull something like that off in the 70s.
100%. And it's crazy because Alien 3, like the film and the story's okay. It's not that bad, but they reverted the first version of CGI for the alien in that, and it's really obvious. It looks like ridiculous. It looks like a little toy. Like, like it's actually, there's only one they've got up against the wall, and the alien's there, like that iconic picture. But Alien and Aliens, it's all people in suits, and like legitimately looks amazing, looks better than half the films that are out today. And I'm not even being, it genuinely does. Like it looks incredible. And like the storytelling, where you become a character's second one, like with the little girl Newt and Hicks, the corporal guy, absolutely fantastic. Like I'm such a nerd for it. Like, honestly, like I get so smiley just talking about it. You know what I mean? I love it that much. Like it's so fucking great. It went a little bit off, you know, went a little bit downhill when they started doing Alien vs Predator, and Resurrection was like, again, like because it was newer, because it was done in like 2000s, it looked worse than fucking Alien and Aliens, and it's like Star Wars, like the newer Star Wars. Wow, so the 2000 Star Wars look so much worse than the first ones. You're like, what the?
Well, they did all that CGI with Star Wars, didn't they? They just completely fucking wiped over the original stuff and CGI'd a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
The problem I see with the CGI stuff is that it dates something. So like it's frozen in that moment of time, and that technology there, and because technology moves at the speed of light, it's as soon as it's released, it's out of date. Whereas if it's just actors in a suit, that can't go out of date, because people can't go out of date. It is what it is, and it will always look the same.
100%.
I'm a believer of practical effects over CGI. Like even in, like if you look at Aliens, if you look at The Exorcist, like the stuff that's actual physical, practical design lasts and is more timeless. Like if you look at some of the shit when they went ape shit with it back in like 2010, and everything was like CGI, it just looks shit.
It does. It looks awful. Like it really does. Chino, you're really good at articulating that sort of thing. What you said is so true. Like it's outdated the minute it comes out, because yeah, technology is constantly moving. Whereas like makeup artists and stuff, like you've got so many amazing makeup artists and like costume designers and stuff that like that stuff just looks, and it's real, it's authentic. Yeah, without sounding too much like a nerd, like I just, you know what I mean, like that, like Aliens, like stands the test of time so well because of that. So,
did you catch Prometheus?
I did, man, and like I feel like with that, I feel like Ridley Scott's ego, like I like the sort of concept. You know, at the end of Prometheus, the first one, where they fly the ship. They fly the human ship into the side of the engineer ship to stop the engineers going to Earth and killing everyone.
Yeah.
So it's got like a hole in the side of it. They climb into it, and the guy gets the egg. The egg opens and goes on his face. Yeah. Well, that when I watched Prometheus for the, I was like, this genius, like that ship in Alien, it's got the whole side because the humans crashed into it and stopped from going to Earth. But went out the window when Ridley Scott, that's not the planet that they land on. It's a different. So I'm like he's trying to be so clever and like trying to confuse it. It was such a simple thing to like woo the Alien fan base like myself. Like, it was the original planet from the first Alien movie. That ship, the first movie, the ship that tried to kill the human race. The reason there's a hole in the side of the ship is because the people flew human Prometheus to the side of it to save the human race from the eggs that on board. It's just simple steps. And then like Ridley Scott's like, no, it's not the planet. Do another 4 movies and it'll eventually get to that planet. Like, oh god,
damn it! In course of action, so you're gonna watch the same film
exactly
4 times.
Exactly. Like I don't. Oh, honestly, it genuinely. And the thing is, there was Sigourney Weaver and Michael Biehn, who played Hicks, was actually in talks with another director. I can't remember his name. Doing Alien 5, which was going to be a follow-up to Aliens, Alien 3, and it was going to be like the story of Newt, the little girl, Corporal Hicks, and Ripley, because everyone loved like the Marines vibe and like that those characters in Alien 3 all killed at the start and all that because they had a different director. Everyone was like, we're going to do an Alien, but Ridley stopped it to do Prometheus. It was the Alien, so doing Prometheus, and then like when they after Prometheus they could carry on with Alien 5. It's like, I'm doing Alien Covenant now because I started the Alien series. You're not doing your movie. So Sigourney Weaver didn't even like Ripley ever again. I don't know. I just think it's a good thing with Ridley Scott, and like Covenant was all right because you got to have the alien or alien in. And I just feel his ego, man. Like you watch him, he's such a very cool person. He's a bit of a strange. That whole thing with Prometheus. What do you think of Prometheus? Did you know what like that with the hole in the side of the ship? Like it would have just made sense to be. Yeah, do you know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I know what you mean. Definitely. I mean, apart from like the cinematography though on like Prometheus, and that was fucking
phenomenal.
Yeah.
That's what's a shame. Like I watched it and I was like, yeah, he perfected it. Cinematography is awesome. Like
that
the concept
scene as well.
Yeah, like the concept of like these engineers. They're the people who created like the human race. That's incredible. Like because that's the sort of stuff I genuinely believe in. Perhaps sounding, like a psychopath, but I do like. I'm really big on like the concept of like there was civilization before us, and like that's how we've all sort of ended up here. And for me, it taps in, and then like, at the end, when you find out like afterwards, and Ridley Scott's doing interviews, like, no, that's not the planet from Alien. That's not LV-426 or whatever it's called. That's a completely different planet. Like you're like, what? Are you out of your mind? Like you just made like pretty much like perfect prequel to one of the greatest movies of all time, and you've just blown it all off for trying to be quirky. Do you know what I mean?
Well, that's the thing with film franchise, isn't it? They suffer the fatal illness of that. They don't know when to stop. Like, so for example, if they stop right there, perfect. Chef's kiss, it wouldn't mind. It's like the whole thing bringing back Indiana Jones again.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah, why? it's so perfect anyway. Yeah. 100%.
3. No more. Leave it at that. I'm convinced though that Harrison Ford just wants to go killing every character That's his concept.
Possibly. I was gutted when he died in that recent Star Wars movie.
Yeah,
I actually, you know what, like onto Star Wars, like I could again, like you'll have to stop me going on. I actually I went into those new Star Wars movies. I watched them over lockdown. I watched every Star Wars movie in all like proper order so that all the story fitted. And all of my friends, are now later Star Wars movies crap, like they're crap. But I watched them with an open mind, and I bloody love them. I did. I thought they were cool. I get there's loads of plot flaws and like there's weird bits of storytelling in it, but I just like them because it was like Star Wars, but like modern and like more up to date, and I really appreciated that.
I feel like the storyline went a bit bizarre.
Yeah.
Like it's kind of like Last Jedi, cinematography wise. Last Jedi is fucking incredible,
unreal. See, that's effects done well. Like the effects in those films are done really well.
However, you know that when it was the last one that they were going to do, they were like, shit, we've had a film that's like not kind of cut ties with everything that we'd planned.
Yeah.
And rebuild everything again within one film. It's fucking mad.
I think didn't they suffer the you know they had 3 different writers on each one. So and they were all like obviously everyone has their own and everyone has their own ideas of how a story should go. So like disjointed, wasn't it? Like, for me, I just really appreciated like the action of it and like I started to like the characters. So and very end of the last one when it was I'm Ray Skywalker. Oh my god, lump in the throat. I was just like, oh my god. When it's back fucking like in like hometown or whatever.
Unreal. For me, it was like Rogue One, like towards the end of Rogue One when you know they're giving the Death Star plans on the ship and Darth Vader's chasing after them, and then you see Carrie Fisher's like, well, it's like a CGI Carrie Fisher, but it looks pretty legit. It's fucking dude, that gave me chills that bit. And I found out Carrie Fisher passed away as soon as I come out of the cinema from that, so it was pretty fucking.
Yeah, brutal. That's a sad one. The day Mark Hamill, I tell you, like I'll be, scary to even think about. He's such an icon. What about that scene in Mandalorian, the last episode?
Dude.
My God.
Dude.
Dude, like honestly, like you know, being really naive. Like when I saw the X-wing, I was like, something in my head wasn't saying Luke Skywalker. I was like, nah, of course not. That'd be too good to be true. And then like he comes in with the lightsaber and he's chopping them all down, and I'm like, no way. And then lifts his hood, and I'm like, oh my god, Christ! Like, just pure goosebumps, man. Like, and they did that quite well when he lifted his hood, and it was Mark Hamill. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah,
that looks like ridiculously good. That's peak technology.
Yeah. So that's done well there. So
they're clever though to give you just a little snippet of it, so like you're not looking at it for too long. Like, hang on.
Like, proper inspecting it.
Yeah.
Don't move too much.
Yeah.
Right. We'll off there before we go into like a mass expansion sci-fi. So you guys are going on tour next year?
Yeah,
man. Has been dates already arranged for it, or is it?
Yeah, the date there somewhere on web. Yeah, with Social Distortion, like apps dream come true. So yeah, can't wait. All round you. Okay,
saying that, guys. Yeah,
that's metal. Incredible. We looked at it before we guys just a list of where you're hitting. It's like
everywhere, man. Gonna crew like a wrecking ball.
We're an all Mars.
But yeah, guys, good luck on the album release tomorrow, and I'm sure you guys are going to smash it with it anyway. So,
cheers, man. You've been legends, man. Like, it's been really fun chatting.
Yeah, man. It's a brief coming on. So saying, and thank you so much for coming on. Like I said, super release tomorrow. Like, honestly, well earned.
I
imagine it will be as well as we're hyping up right now. But yeah, we'll do it. We'll say goodbye, and then we'll
But yeah, that was really fun, man. Thanks for having us on. Obviously, I'll probably chew your ear off all night. about aliens and sort of stuff. So, yeah, thanks for having us on. Hopefully, we'll see what there's something. We'll hang out and we'll get a drink.
100%, yeah, guys. If you're in Manchester or Wigan, you know, you can go for
Wigan.
it.
Get a Wigan kebab.
We'll definitely be in Wigan again, won't we, Chino? Definitely.
Yeah,
100%, man. Like, there's some good bands in. There's a nice band called Yourselves. You should check them out. And then there's a really good band as well called Dummer, who are like basically like Green Day. They're really good band.
Oh, cool.
Incredible.
Really good band. Yeah, check them out. So,
nice, man.
Yeah. So cheers anyway, guys. Thank you.
Nice one, boys.
Take it easy.
So that was episode 54 with Chino and Christian of Lovebreakers. Cheers, guys, again for coming on. Yeah, go check out the new album Primary Colours if you already haven't, and the music video's up on YouTube. Just go stream the shit out of it, go buy it, especially on vinyl as well because it looks sick. But yeah,
just the album's sick. Yeah. Like it's just a good time. If you're into that Jersey sound, you'll probably know what I mean. Just go and check it out. It's good shit. Whilst we're at it as well, massive thank you to Matt Hughes from Gold PR for setting us up with this, and we had a lovely chat from it. But yeah, if you haven't already, and you probably have because this is the 54th episode, go and check out all of our previous episodes on whatever platform you listen to them on, or you can get it on our YouTube channel where you can get the full thing. You can get highlights. There's going to be extra shiz on there eventually. I just said shiz. Faux shizzle.
Okay, now.
But yeah, go and check out all of our previous episodes. Any support is hugely appreciated. And we've just passed 100 subscribers on YouTube.
You know what would be funny now? If by the time this video comes out,
it's dropped down.
People subscribe.
We're like 98.
It's a milestone. It's a little milestone, but it's fucking good. So thanks guys for supporting and everyone who's subscribed anyway. We appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you for the love. And if you checked us out, you should check out our other series that we have underneath an Earful podcast. So we've got brand new episodes out of the Hardcore Project. The most recent one's The Vexed. It's a good chat. Make sure you go and check that out. And the brand new episode of the Silver Screen Unseen series. They just released episode 3. It's a good time. Go listen.
Yeah.
Discuss film. Enjoy film. Be film.
Be film.
Become the film. Right, before it gets any weird, I'm going to cut this off. But yeah, massive thank you for checking out the podcast. If you've made it this far, credit to you. If you're enjoying us babbling.
And we're going to do the standard YouTube stuff now. If you're a YouTuber, please like and subscribe, especially subscribing as well. If you've enjoyed the video, just click the subscribe button.
Drop it in the comments.
Yeah, drop a comment. You know what to do.
Tell your friends. Oh, that stuff. Yeah, we'll go in now. Okay, bye.